Good morning and welcome back to Prep Talk on Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve and today we're going to talk about giving thanks and things to be thankful for. So stay with us. Okay, guys, I want to tell you a story. There's a YouTuber out there, I'm blanking on his handle, who one of the mainstays of his channel is he orders MREs from all over the world and he taste tests them, rates them, and reviews them. Well, one day he aired a video. It's been a while since I've seen it, but he had to order a Russian MRE. And he goes through the entree, and it's a pretty tasteless meat analog. And he rates it. And he makes up the coffee and the tea. And he drinks them. And the tea's kind of weak, the coffee's kind of strong. He rates it. And then he opens up the tin called pate. And he cracks it open. And he smells it. This is a little funny. He takes his fork. He gets a little bit on it. Taste tests it. And he looks at the camera and he says, "Wait a minute, guys. I know this smell." And he goes to his cupboard and comes back with another tin. And he cracks it open. It smells the same. He grabs his trusty fork and taste tests it. And he starts laughing. And he says, "Guys, the pate that these Russian soldiers are eating is Friskies." Our MREs have come a long way. Our meals that we can get are no longer the tin can sea rats of days gone by. At this point in time, we can still walk into the hardware store and buy 50-pound grains of sowing wheat. We can still go to the supermarket and buy everything from canned Spam and pork roast in a can to fresh fruits, vegetables, bread. There's a reason why they called it was waiting in the bread line. And 9 times out of 10, you walk in and there's plenty on the shelves. You might go in at midnight sometime when they're phasing over inventory and the bread shelves are empty or all the great value white bread is gone. But there's a plethora of other options for you. You can go back to the deli meat section and look over all the ham, the salami, the everything. And you can even find kosher ham made out of beef, an analog. You can find ham and bologna made out of chicken and beef. You have options. You don't have to buy Oscar Mayer. You can buy Deli Rich. You can buy Richland Farms. You can buy however many others. I can't remember the kosher group's name off the top of my head. We need to be thankful and give thanks for the wonderful advantages we have living here. Do I think that our economy is in a precarious state? Absolutely, guys, absolutely. I'm not going to say there's nothing to prep for. I mean, shoot, the earthquake, multiple earthquakes in California. Absolutely. But at the same point in time, we need to be grateful for what we have and the ability to prep as much and as well as we can. Right now, there aren't bread lines. Right now, we're not offered or issued voucher tickets for 10 gallons of gasoline per week. Right now, we're not being fined for, well, I guess in some states you're being fined for watering your grass if you use too much, but for the most part, I mean, we can water our grass, water our gardens with relative immunity as long as we pay the water bill if we live in town, or we come up with spring water, rainwater, whatever, if we're out in the country. Our lives are not as controlled as we think they are. Is there a lot of overreach? Absolutely. But right now, as we set aside our preps, as we set aside everything that we think we might need for the coming event, we're not having to stock pate that we feed our animals. We are not having to sign paperwork right now every time we buy one box of 22 ammo just to go plinking. We can buy pretty substantial amounts of ammo and no one blinks an eye. We can buy substantial amounts of food and no one blinks an eye. We can go out and plant a garden in our backyard, and that's considered normal. We can go out to the national forest with camping gear and spend a week living out of a bug-out bag. We can hike the Appalachian Trail or portions of it. We can hike the Ouachita Trail or portions of it. And we can choose what we're going to take with us, and we can test our gear, we can test our abilities, we can test our skills. We don't have to survive by them, right? We have pretty good health care. If you stop and think about it, yes, you have to pay through the nose. Yes, it's a good thing to have health insurance, but you're not stuck with either minimal treatment or no treatment at all. You're not stuck with either crutches or a manual wheelchair if you lose a leg or use the use of both legs. There are power chairs. There are titanium legs built like springs that help you move. There are athletes who are missing a limb and compete in marathons all the time. We don't operate from a position of fear. We plan, we assess, and then we set aside. But I'm thinking that we need to give thanks we need to take a few minutes and say, right now this country is still the greatest country in the world. Right now, things are still on an even keel. Or, a slightly angled keel, but we're still able to do the things we want to do, the things we need to do to prepare for the coming. Back during the election, when MRA cases were $35 and $40 and $50 for 12 meals, 223, 556, and 22 could not be found. Certain black rifles were thousands of dollars for a basic model, about $1,200 for a basic model. Everyone was in a tizzy trying to put together everything they had and double down. And then we had an election and prices dropped. That $1,200 gun went to about $600. Some people continue to prep. Some people continue to maintain the same level of stockpiling, the same budget that they did during the election, during the months spinning up to it. Others have gotten complacent and done nothing because, it's all good. I think we need to be thankful for the situation we're in right now. Matter of fact, I challenge you to look at it as 7 years of plenty. Take these years and double down on your preps. Put everything you have into them. Because we know the pattern. We ignore the pattern, but we know it. It's generally 8 years of one party, 8 years of another party, and they bounce back and forth. And they pass legislation that empowers each other, whoever's in charge, and we all gripe back and forth. It happens. It's a fact of life. Let's just be honest, it's a fact of life. That's how things generally work. And I'm not saying which political party's going to do whatever. I'm not going there. Personally, off the record, I think that it's one entity with two faces. I would really like to see a third party actually kick in and, shake things up. But be that as it may, right now the economy's on an upturn. Even with the flooding and the loss of beef cattle and whatnot, we're, as a country, doing okay. Unemployment is at an all-time low, supposedly, according to one set of statistics. So let's take a day, be thankful that we can still get good foods to store up. Be thankful that we can still get seed and that we've stored seed from last season and our gardens are going. Even if our gardens have failed or got baked or got overwatered with the storms, we may still have one or two plants growing. So let's be thankful, guys. Let's take the time and go, hey, we're okay for now. Take that deep breath, be thankful, and then turn around and start prepping some more. that's all I had for you today. But give thanks, be thankful. Don't eat the Friskies. The pate's got a weird taste to it. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching Prep Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Johnson County, Arkansas Prepper Swap Meet, Saturday, July 20th, starting probably 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later. Show up whenever. If you bring firearms, leave the adult beverages at home. If there's enough interest, there's going to be a possibility of a EMP camp out the night before. And I'm seriously considering about taking some gear and seeing what we can do. So, if you're in Arkansas or Arklay, Texahoma, give it some thought. And let us know, and I'll funnel information back to the host. What else? If you want a Prepping in Progress t-shirt, check the description. Be sure to jump over and say hi on our Facebook page. And thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate you. We will talk to you later in the week. Have a good one.